Around the world, countless abandoned places stand as hauntingly beautiful reminders of the past. Once full of life, these locations now sit in quiet decay, overtaken by nature, shaped by time, and filled with untold stories. For photographers, history lovers, and curious travelers, such sites offer a rare glimpse into a frozen moment where beauty and melancholy coexist. From ghost towns swallowed by sand to castles weathered by centuries, every destination holds its mysterious charm. This video is full of the most photogenic abandoned places you can explore, each one a breathtaking stage where history meets nature's art. Please hit the subscribe button for the latest updates. Pripyat, Ukraine. Few abandoned places in the world are as famous or as chilling as Pripyat. Once a thriving Soviet city, Pripyat was home to nearly 50,000 residents until the Chernobyl nuclear disaster in April 1986 forced a complete evacuation. Today, the city remains eerily frozen in time. Schools are littered with forgotten textbooks, amusement park rides stand rusting in the open air, and apartment buildings crumble under the weight of decades of neglect. For photographers, Pripyat offers a hauntingly cinematic backdrop: cracked concrete streets split by growing trees, faded murals still clinging to walls, and a Ferris wheel that never carried a single passenger. Despite its abandonment, the city still tells a powerful story about human ambition, disaster, and resilience. Access to Pripyat is only allowed through guided tours, which follow strict safety protocols due to lingering radiation. While visitors must wear protective gear and avoid certain hotspots, the journey is unforgettable. The silence is profound, broken only by the wind and the occasional bird song, a reminder that while humanity may leave, nature always returns. Pripyat isn't just a ghost town, it's a place where history feels alive in the most haunting way possible. Kolmanskop, Namibia. In the heart of Namibia's vast desert lies Kolmanskop, a once booming diamond mining town now slowly disappearing under waves of sand. Founded in the early 1900s by German settlers, Kolmanskop flourished for decades, with elegant homes, a hospital, and even a bowling alley. But when the diamond supply dwindled in the 1950s, residents left, leaving behind their possessions and dreams. Today, nature has claimed the town in the most surreal way imaginable. Sand drifts through doorways, swallowing staircases and filling entire rooms. The pastel-colored walls of the houses, still faintly painted, contrast strikingly with the golden dunes creeping inside. This strange fusion of architecture and desert creates some of the most photogenic scenes in the world. Walking through Kolmanskop feels like stepping into a dream where time stands still and the desert decides what survives. The sound of shifting sand replaces human voices, and light streaming through cracked windows creates an otherworldly glow. Guided tours allow visitors to explore the best-preserved buildings, offering insights into the town's glittering yet short-lived history. Kolmanskop isn't just abandoned, it's a living art installation shaped by wind, sand, and the unstoppable passage of time. Hashima Island, Japan. Hashima Island, known as Gunkanjima, or Battleship Island, sits just off the coast of Nagasaki, Japan. Once a bustling coal mining facility, the island was home to over 5,000 workers and their families during its peak in the mid-20th century. Its skyline of tightly packed concrete apartment blocks gave it the appearance of a warship, hence its nickname. When Japan shifted from coal to petroleum in the 1970s, the mines closed, and Hashima was abandoned almost overnight. The result is a ghost city in miniature, empty buildings standing against the sea, their windows shattered and walls crumbling from years of exposure to salt and storms. For decades, the island was off limits, adding to its mystery. Today, limited tours allow visitors to step onto its decaying streets, though large areas remain too unstable for entry. The combination of urban decay, industrial relics, and the surrounding ocean makes Hashima a paradise for photographers. Its unique silhouette even caught Hollywood's attention, featuring in the James Bond film Skyfall. Standing on Hashima feels like standing at the edge of the world, a place where human ambition once defied nature, only for the ocean and time to reclaim it entirely. Bannerman's Castle, USA. On a small island in New York's Hudson River stands Bannerman's Castle, a crumbling fortress with a romantic yet tragic past. Built in the early 1900s by Scottish immigrant Francis Bannerman VI, the castle was originally a storage facility for military surplus. Its whimsical design, complete with towers and decorative walls, made it look like something out of a fairy tale. In 1920, a massive explosion from stored munitions damaged much of the castle, and Bannerman's death soon after sealed its fate. Over the decades, fire, storms, and neglect have reduced it to a skeletal ruin. Today, ivy-covered walls rise dramatically above the water, creating a breathtaking sight for boaters and photographers alike. Access to the island is limited to guided kayak tours and seasonal boat trips, allowing visitors to walk among the ruins and learn about the castle's colorful history. The contrast between the romantic architecture and the rugged natural surroundings is nothing short of mesmerizing. Bannerman's Castle stands as a monument to personal vision and the unpredictable forces of nature and time, a place where history, architecture, and mystery meet on a tiny piece of land in the middle of the Hudson. Bodie, California, USA. High in the Sierra Nevada mountains lies Bodie, one of the most famous ghost towns in America. Once a booming gold mining settlement in the lawlessness. At its peak, over 10,000 people called it home. But as the gold veins ran dry, so did the town's fortune. In the 1940s, Bodie was late 1800s. Bodie was notorious for its wild nightlife, gunfights, and deserted, leaving behind weather-beaten wooden buildings, a silent church, and dusty streets. Today, Bodie is preserved in a state of arrested decay, meaning the buildings are kept exactly as they were found. Windows still hold tattered curtains, and shelves display rusted cans and bottles. The town's remote location and dry climate have kept it remarkably intact, making it a dream for photographers seeking authentic Old West scenes. The light in Bodie is especially magical at sunrise and sunset, when the golden glow accentuates the weathered wood and rolling hills. Managed as a California State Historic Park, Bodie offers a rare opportunity to step into the past. Walking through it feels like opening a time capsule, one where you can almost hear the laughter in the saloons and the clink of gold pans in the creek. Oradour-sur-Glane, France. On June 10, 1944, the quiet French village of Oradour-sur-Glane was forever changed. During World War II, Nazi forces massacred 642 villagers and burned the town to the ground as part of a brutal reprisal. After the war, rather than rebuilding, France chose to preserve the site exactly as it was, a memorial and a warning to future generations. Walking through Oradour-sur-Glane today is a deeply moving experience. Rusting cars sit in the streets where they were abandoned. Sewing machines rest on charred tables, and bullet-riddled walls stand silent under the weight of history. Signs mark the buildings as they once were a cafe, a school, a tailor's shop, yet their emptiness is profound. The site is carefully maintained to keep it as it appeared in 1944, offering visitors a powerful connection to the past. For photographers, the combination of historical authenticity and solemn stillness creates images that speak volumes without words. Oradour-sur-Glane is more than just photogenic. It's a sacred space where the beauty of old stonework contrasts sharply with the horror of its history. Visiting reminds us that behind every ruin lies a story, and some stories should never be forgotten. The Maunsell Forts, UK. Rising eerily from the waters of the Thames and Mersey estuaries, the Maunsell Forts look like something out of a science fiction movie. Built during World War II to defend against German aircraft and naval attacks, these steel structures stood on stilts, housing soldiers and anti-aircraft guns. After the war, the forts were abandoned, and their rusted frames became both dangerous and fascinating. Over the years, they've hosted pirate radio stations, been used as micronations, and attracted urban explorers seeking a glimpse of this unusual maritime architecture. Today, they remain as surreal relics. Massive skeletal towers linked by walkways, silhouetted against the sky and sea. At sunrise or sunset, their shadows stretch across the water, making for hauntingly beautiful photographs. Access is tricky, the forts are offshore, and many are unsafe to enter. Still, boat tours from the Kent coast allow for stunning views, especially for those interested in industrial and military history. The Maunsell Forts stand as strange, lonely guardians in the sea, a reminder of a time when Britain's coasts bristled with defenses, and a testament to the strange beauty of decaying steel against the endless horizon. Beelitz-Heilstätten, Germany. Just outside Berlin lies Beelitz-Heilstätten, a sprawling medical complex with a history both fascinating and chilling. Built in the late 19th century as a tuberculosis sanatorium, the site later served as a military hospital during both World Wars. Even Adolf Hitler was treated here for injuries sustained in World War I. After the fall of the Berlin Wall, the facility was abandoned, leaving behind over 60 buildings slowly overtaken by nature. Inside, peeling paint, long corridors, and broken windows create a cinematic atmosphere. Sunlight filters through shattered glass, casting dramatic patterns on the floor, while ivy creeps through cracks in the walls. Beelitz-Heilstätten has become a favorite location for filmmakers and photographers, offering a blend of eerie decay and historic architecture. Some buildings have been stabilized for guided tours, and a treetop walkway now allows visitors to view the grounds from above. The site's haunting beauty lies in its contrasts. Grand architecture meant for healing, now silent and overrun by the very elements it once kept out. For those with a love for urban exploration, Beelitz-Heilstätten is an unforgettable dive into Germany's layered history. Ross Island, India. Off the coast of the Andaman Islands lies Ross Island, a tropical paradise with a haunting twist. Once the administrative headquarters of the British in the Andamans, the island was a thriving colonial settlement, complete with bungalows, a church, and gardens. In 1942, Japanese forces occupied the island during World War II, and after the war ended, it was gradually abandoned. Without human care, nature quickly took over massive banyan trees now engulfing buildings, their roots weaving through windows and walls in surreal patterns. Walking through Ross Island feels like exploring a jungle-covered time capsule. The skeletal remains of colonial architecture stand under a canopy of green, and the sound of tropical birds replaces the bustle of British officers. The contrast between the warm, sunny beaches and the ghostly ruins makes for extraordinary photography. Today, the island is accessible by short boat rides from Port Blair, and visitors can explore its crumbling pathways while learning about its history. Ross Island is proof of how quickly nature reclaims what humans leave behind, turning once grand settlements into wild, living works of art. Varosha, Cyprus. Once a glamorous beach resort in Famagusta, Varosha was a favorite holiday destination for celebrities and wealthy travelers during the 1960s and early 70s. Luxury hotels lined its golden beaches, and its streets bustled with shops and cafes. Everything changed in 1974 when Turkey invaded Cyprus, and the residents fled overnight. Since then, Varosha has been fenced off, a ghost city under military control. For decades, time stood still. Cars rusted in driveways, hotel rooms remained untouched, and shop mannequins still wore 1970s fashions. In recent years, parts of Varosha have reopened to visitors, though much remains off-limits. Walking along its deserted beachfront is surreal. The sea is as beautiful as ever, but the skyline is a decaying shell of what was once called the Riviera of Cyprus. Photographers, Varosha offers a rare mix of urban decay and Mediterranean beauty. The contrast between the turquoise waters and the crumbling hotels makes every frame compelling. Visiting is both a privilege and a reminder that even the most glamorous places can become forgotten in the sweep of history. Humberstone and Santa Laura, Chile. In the arid Atacama Desert of northern Chile lie the ghost towns of Humberstone and Santa Laura. Founded in the late 19th century, they thrived on nitrate mining, producing fertilizer and explosives that were shipped around the world, with theaters, schools, and plazas. But when synthetic nitrates were developed in the mid-20th century, the industry collapsed and the towns were abandoned. Today, the desert climate has preserved much of its wooden and metal architecture. Rusting machinery, empty swimming pools, and weathered buildings stand under the blazing sun, creating stark and photogenic scenes. The peeling paint and creaking boards tell stories of both prosperity and hardship. Designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Humberstone and Santa Laura are open to visitors, offering insight into a once booming industry. The silence of the desert, broken only by the wind, makes exploring these towns feel like stepping into another era, one where human ambition met the unforgiving reality of nature and innovation. Craco, Italy. Perched on a hilltop in southern Italy, Craco looks like a medieval fortress from a distance. Founded in the 8th century, the village thrived for centuries, despite its isolated location. Narrow stone streets, a towering church, and tightly clustered houses made it a picture-perfect Italian town. But Craco's position on unstable clay soil proved disastrous. Landslides and earthquakes in the 20th century forced residents to relocate, leaving the old town completely abandoned by the 1980s. Today, Craco stands frozen in time, its empty stone buildings and winding alleys attracting filmmakers and photographers alike. Movies like The Passion of the Christ and Quantum of Solace have used Craco's dramatic setting. The warm light of southern Italy gives the ruins an almost magical glow, especially at sunset. Guided tours allow visitors to walk through Craco's silent streets, hear the echoes of its long history, and admire panoramic views of the surrounding countryside. Craco is a place where the beauty of the past has been perfectly preserved, not despite tragedy, but because of it, through literature and television, which have drawn more travelers to its shores. Yet Spinalonga Island, Greece. Located off the coast of Crete, Spinalonga Island has a layered and often tragic history. Originally fortified by the Venetians in the 16th century to defend against Ottoman invasion, it later served as a leper colony from 1903 to 1957. During its leper colony years, residents built a functioning community within the fortress walls, homes, schools, and shops, all under the shadow of stigma. When the colony closed, the island was abandoned, leaving behind a haunting mix of medieval fortifications and 20th century homes. Today, Spinalonga is accessible by boat, and visitors can wander through its narrow lanes, admire its stone walls, and take in stunning views of the turquoise sea. The blend of rugged ruins and natural beauty makes it a favorite subject for photographers. In recent years, Spinalonga has also become known despite its growing popularity. The island retains an air of solitude, a reminder of its past, and a place where history and the sea meet in haunting harmony. Kayaköy, Turkey. Nestled in the hills of southwestern Turkey, Kayaköy was once a thriving Greek village known as Levisi. It flourished with whitewashed stone houses, churches, and cobbled streets for centuries. But in the 1920s, following the Greco-Turkish War and a forced population exchange, the village was abandoned almost overnight. Today, Kayaköy is a ghost town with over 500 roofless stone houses cascading down the hillside. Weeds and wildflowers grow through the walls, and the wind carries the scent of pine and thyme. Despite its emptiness, the village is bathed in sunlight, and its elevated position offers sweeping views of the surrounding valley. Kayaköy's haunting charm has inspired writers and filmmakers, and it's now partially preserved as a museum village. Visitors can explore its silent streets, step into crumbling churches, and imagine the lives once lived there. The combination of Mediterranean light, historical architecture, and peaceful isolation makes Kayaköy irresistibly photogenic, where beauty and loss exist in perfect balance. Bannack, Montana, USA. Founded in 1862 during Montana's gold rush, Bannack quickly became a bustling mining town and the state's first territorial capital. Its streets were lined with saloons, shops, and hotels, and its wooden sidewalks bustled with miners, hoping to strike it rich. When the gold ran out, so did the people. By the mid-20th century, Bannack was abandoned, but many of its buildings remained standing thanks to the region's dry climate. Today, over 60 structures survive, from weathered log cabins to the stately brick courthouse. Preserved as a state park, Bannack offers visitors the rare chance to walk through an entire Old West town. Photographers are drawn to its rustic charm, dusty streets, antique wagons, and the soft glow of evening light on the wooden facades. Every July, the town briefly comes alive during Bannack Days, a festival that recreates the sights and sounds of its frontier past. The rest of the year, it remains a silent, sunlit monument to the boom and bust cycles that shaped the American West. Abandoned places hold a unique kind of beauty, one shaped by time, nature, and the echoes of human stories. They remind us that nothing lasts forever, yet everything leaves a mark. Whether it's a desert town swallowed by sand, an island fortress battered by storms, or a once vibrant city silenced by disaster, each site is a living canvas of history. Visiting these places isn't just about capturing stunning photographs, it's about honoring the passage of time and the resilience of nature. In the stillness, we find beauty, and in the decay, we discover the enduring spirit of the world's forgotten corners. Please hit the subscribe button for the latest updates.